by Trinity Homes. I'm Joe Bricata. We will be joined later in the show by Ben Eschebaugh, Shelby Cassesi, and CJ Harvey. 11 matchups to bring you tonight, but without question the best matchup on paper was in Lost Creek. 7-0 South Harrison and 7-0 St. Mary's split the two meetings they played last year, with the Blue Devils winning in the state quarterfinal round. A pair of unbeaten teams sharing the field, with home field all the way to Wheeling potentially hanging in the balance this one. As we take you out to senior night at Gary Barnett Field, we pick things up on the first possession of the game for St. Mary's. Landon McFadden comes up with the interception for South Harrison, and the Hawks are set up at the Blue Devil 40-yard line. South would later recover a fumble at the 30. We remain scoreless, and then Nate Wright rolls out and hits Brenton Barnett for a 30-yard touchdown connection. Hawks on the board first as they lead 6-0. Next possession, though, for the Blue Devils, they too go to the air. Braden Barnhart looks to the end zone, and Will Billatier reels it in. That's a 30-yard connection. Tack on the PAT, and St. Mary's leads 7-6. Later in the first, Dylan Gray gets the handoff, and he pushes the massive pile of humanity forward into the end zone. 4-yard touchdown extends St. Mary's lead to 14-6. Late in the quarter, the Blue Devils are driving again. Billatier looks down the middle of the field. Ryan Miller reels it in with a juggling grab at the South Harrison 15-yard line. 2 plays later, Jaden Smith gets the call and gets into the end zone. 20-6. St. Mary's up 2 scores at the end of the first quarter of play. Step ahead to the second quarter now. The Blue Devils drive to the 2. Barnhart takes it the rest of the way. St. Mary's leads 27-6 at the half. And then in the third quarter, visitors would put it out of reach as Miller on the double handoff takes it 25 yards for the score. 34-6 St. Mary's at that point, and they pick up a huge victory, winning in Lost Creek by the final of 47-6. South Harrison with a pair of matchups against Payton City and Ward County ahead of them as they look to get to the 9-win mark. We take you to Clarksburg now. A.J. Harmon and the Liberty Mountaineers looking to pick up their 6th victory on the season, taking on the Ritchie County Rebels. We pick things up in the first quarter. We're scoreless, but not for long. Liberty's Seth McKinney hands off to Broderick Lance, who stiff arms one tackler and walks into the end zone from 28 yards out. It's 7-0 Mountaineers. On Liberty's second possession, McKinney hands off to Lance once again, who gets around the end and walks into the end zone from 12 yards out. That doubles the lead for the home team to 14-0. Still in the first quarter, McKinney hands off to Dalton Westfall, who makes one cut and then heads home, walking into the end zone from 32 yards out. That makes it a 21-0 game. Second quarter, McKinney hands off to Lance, who spins away in the middle of the line, then turns on the Jets, outraces everybody to the end zone. That's a 63-yard touchdown run. Makes the score 28-0, and they're not done. Later in the second quarter, 4th and 4 facing the Mountaineers. McKinney drops back to pass, dumps it over the middle. He's got Robert Gibson. That's Gibson's first ever touchdown, and it puts the Mountaineers up 35-0. Then with 3 minutes to go in the half, McKinney hands off to Westfall, who breaks from 2 tacklers and is dragged down into the end zone. That makes it 42-0 Mountaineers at the half, and they clinch a winning season. 6-3 are the Liberty Mountaineers. They win by the final of 42-12. We will be joined on 5th Quarter Extra live in studio by the victorious head coach of the Mountaineers, A.J. Harmon, coming up at 11:35. Let's take you to Tennerton now. Buchanan Upshur, 2-4, entering their matchup with the Brook Bruins, but still a chance for BU to get into the playoffs if they can run the table over their final 3 games. We are scoreless in the first quarter when we pick things up. Jack Garcia starts off the drive here as he rumbles 10 yards for a first down, but 2 plays later, the ball is coughed up, and Ethan Sechrist comes up with it for the Bruins at their 25-yard line. We remain scoreless. The Bruins start a drive of their own. Alexander Edgel breaks a few tackles for a nice gain for 1st and 10 at midfield. Brook tries to go to the air. Later in the possession, but Gage Yost is going to be picked off by promising sophomore Nathan Tolliver, who returns it back to the 25-yard line of Buchanan Upshur. Brook would later hold. The Bucks' Alexander Seach is going to go back to punt, but the punt attempt is blocked by Sechrist, and he returns it deep into BU territory all the way down to the 10-yard line. 2 plays later, the Bruins are able to cash it in as Ezekiel Farmer takes a handoff, goes up the middle and into the end zone for the touchdown. The stalemate is broken. We have the first points of the game. BU trails 7-0. Bucks finally would get something going here as Tolliver on the keeper goes left, picks up 12 yards and a first down for Buchanan Upshur. A few plays later, it's that man again. Tolliver running the option to perfection. He gets into the end zone, and that ties things up at 7 at the half. And BU would score 28 unanswered points. They scored 21 in the second half to pick up their 3rd victory of the year, winning by the final of 28-7. They will head to Preston next week in week number 10. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Lincoln looking to get to the 6-win mark, taking on Grafton at a soggy McKinney Field. Lincoln's Hunter Moore returning the opening kickoff, but check out Grafton's Cameron Forte strips the ball. Dakota Norris falls on it for the Bearcats. On the next play, Tristan Cochran finds his way into the end zone from 21 yards out. We're 8 seconds in. Grafton's already out to an early 6-0 lead. But the Cougars would come back. Kobe Carpenter on the scramble. He's going to keep it and finds his way 13 yards and into the end zone. The PAT would be no good, and that evens up the score at 6 apiece. After another Carpenter touchdown run made it 13-6 Cougars. Lincoln driving again. Moore plows in from 3 yards away. The Cougars lead 20-6. Late in the half, LHS looking for more. Carpenter scrambling around, but he is stopped for a loss by the Bearcats' Trevor Clayton. Cougars maintain a 20-6 lead at the break. Second half, Lincoln would extend their lead. Grafton is forced to punt. Dustin Marks fields it, breaks tackles, goes down the sideline, and all the way to the Bearcat 20-yard line. That would set up this 1-yard dive by Moore. That makes it 26-6 at that point. Lincoln tacks on one more score, and they pick up the victory, winning at Grafton by the final of 33-6 as the Cougars improve to 6-2 rather. Chase Riley becomes Lincoln's all-time leading receiver with 1 reception tonight. He is the new reception king for Cougar football. Coming up after the break, we pass the mic to Shelby Cassesi. She'll have highlights from both Morgantown squads as they continue their respective playoff pursuits. Fifth quarter, built by Trinity Homes, continues after this.
Our play of the week brings us to Morgantown. John Marshall trying to pass, but check out this one-handed pick by Cameron Henderson off the deflection. The pick leads to points on the ensuing drive, and Henderson has our play of the week. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us here on the fifth quarter, built by Trinity Homes. We have stops in Pine Grove and Philippi up ahead, but first we'll head up north to Morgantown, where both local teams were at home tonight. University and Morgantown have both built impressive resumes this year, and with the Mohawk Bowl closing out the regular season for both squads next week, the Mohegans and the Hawks each had an opportunity to put one more win on their records before heading into Week 10's crosstown rivalry game. So we'll go out to the U first. It's senior night. Head coach John Kelly and the one-loss Hawks closing out their home slate against Preston. It's already 21-0 UHS in the first. Preston trying to get something going with the pitch is fumbled. They use Peyton Powell-Rosnick recovers for the Hawks, and it takes just one play to score again. Clay Bailey rolls left, throws for the end zone. He finds Amir Richardson for the 20-yard catch, and the Hawks go up 28-0. Some great defense for the Hawks. Preston quarterback Brady Baker tries to find an open man, but he gets flattened by Powell-Rosnick and Trevor Barnhart for the sack, and the Knights are forced to punt. Joseph Boyles gets the punt off. Robert Sanders trying to get the ball upfield, but he is leveled by Caleb Gribble. Hawks have it at their own 48 though, and all it takes is just one play again. It's Bailey to Richardson on the screen pass. He dodges one tackler, makes his way up the sideline, shutting defenders along the way, and there he goes for a 52-yard touchdown. Another multi-score night for Richardson makes it 35-0 at the half, and UHS wins their 8th game of the season, beating Preston 42-6. Across town now to the Mohegans on their homecoming night, hosting John Marshall. MHS getting it done early with their first snap of the game from the line of scrimmage. Logan Holgerson hands it off to Ben Wyboga, who takes it to the outside, and he will not be touched. He goes all the way to the end zone for the 45-yard strike. It's 7-0 after the PAT. Next Mohegan possession, it's Joseph Turner who gets the handoff, finds the hole, and off he goes. He's finally dragged down at the Monarchs' 16-yard line. That's a 43-yard gain for MHS. Next play, Jordan Page finishes the job, taking it the remaining 16 yards for the MHS score, and the Mohegans lead by 2 scores now. It's 14-0 early on. MHS on defense now. Monarch quarterback Jordan Wood tries to hit his receiver, but the ball bounces out of the intended target's hands, and Cameron Henderson makes the one-handed pick for our play of the week. He's off and is finally brought down at the Monarch 23-yard line. And the Mohegans convert on the turnover. It's Page again getting to the right sideline. He dives into the end zone for another MHS touchdown. Mohegans dominating early. It's 21-0. MHS back on defense now. Wood is going to heave it to the end zone, but he throws into a swarm of red jerseys. It's Henderson once again with his second interception of the game. Penalty has the Mohegans starting at their own 14-yard line. But to start the second quarter, Shaquille Johnson III helps the cause, finding a wide open gap and outracing the pack of Monarchs. He is finally brought down at the 11-yard line, just shy of the touchdown. Mohegans once again in striking distance, and they do. Holgerson in the air this time, hits Henderson. He jukes his way across the goal line. That touchdown is on top of the 2 interceptions he already has, and that 15-yard score makes it 28-0 early in the second quarter. Morgantown cruises to victory with the shutout, 60-0 the final on homecoming night. We bring you out now to Pine Grove as the Lumberjacks host the Bulldogs of Doddridge County. Valley Wetzel with the ball. Tyler Coher goes to run. He makes it to midfield, but the ball comes loose, and Hunter Riffle jumps on it for the Bulldogs for the fumble recovery. Doddridge looking to get points off the turnover as Logan Gogan runs it in for the touchdown, and the Bulldogs lead 6-0 after the bad PAT. Doddridge looking to add to their lead now as Curtis James gets the handoff, breaks through the defense for the long run, and the Bulldogs score on that drive. They lead by 2 scores now. It's 14-0. Doddridge now looking to extend their lead again as Riffle rolls out. He throws to Seth Davis, who makes the catch in the end zone, and the Bulldogs lead big 22-0. Coer now looking deep for Valley Wetzel late in the second half. Alexander Midcap makes the catch and steps out of bounds for the Lumberjacks. Now looking to score. Coer finds Levi Streets as time expires for the touchdown. The Lumberjacks are down now 22-6 entering the half, and the Bulldogs go on to win 28-6, the final score. The Bees of East Fairmont and the Colts of Philip Barber in Barber County tonight. If you thought the wind and rain would lead to low scoring and turnovers, you would be right. On 4th down, the punt goes over the head of Colts Thomas Knight. After a scrum, it winds up in the hands of East Fairmont at the 2-yard line of the home team. Then just 2 plays later, it's Nathan Giroux up the middle for the score, and East Fairmont leads 7-0 after the PAT. More East Fairmont offense here. Dominic Postlethwaite scrambles to the right, looking for an open receiver. However, it's Joseph Collier of the defense who snares the pass for the interception. He would step out of bounds shortly after, and at the end of the first quarter, East Fairmont leads 7-0. Second quarter action now, and the Colts with the ball. It's a quarterback keeper for Collier getting the first down. Then on the same drive on 4th down, Collier looking to pass, but he keeps it and is stopped short of the chains for a turnover on downs. Last play of the half, the home team in enemy territory. Curtis Humphreys goes deep with 1 second on the clock, but it winds up in the hands of Dylan Burks. It's a 7-0 score at the end of the half, and East Fairmont only scores one more time, but they win it. Final 14-0. When we return, Ben Eschenbaugh will have highlights from Kaiser, plus your hit of the week after the break.
Our hit of the week comes at you from the U. Preston quarterback Brady Baker scrambling to find a man open, but before he can do so, he is eaten up by Peyton Poroznik and Trevor Barnhart for the sack. UHS would go on to win this one 42-6, and this is your hit of the week. Hello and welcome back to the 5th quarter, built by Trinity Homes. Just 2 more games to get to in this block, and both feature presumed playoff teams looking to boost their seed in the final 2 weeks of the regular season. So we head out to Kaiser for this one in a top 10 matchup. State's #1 Bridgeport going up against the last Class AA team to beat them. First quarter, Indians with the ball. Big time fake by Gordon Swiger. He fools everyone and he keeps it himself. A gain of 12 yards down to the Kaiser 23. That drive would stall, however. Kobe Kiefer in to boot a 38-yard field goal, and the Indians take their first lead 3-0. Second quarter, the Golden Tornado possession. Brady Hours on play action. He has Camden White down the sidelines for 45 yards to the Bridgeport 25. 3 plays later, Hours rolls to the left and he finds White again, this time a 24-yard strike, and Kaiser takes their first lead 6-3. And that would hold at the half. Kaiser gets the ball back in the third. They run 7 minutes off the clock from the Bridgeport 25. Hours will keep it himself, dodging Indians left and right. He fumbles the ball, but it ends up out of bounds, so Kaiser maintains possession. So 2 plays later, Hours sneaks it in from the 1, and Bridgeport is down 2 possessions. It's 13-3. After back-to-back 3-and-outs, Bridgeport would have great field position on a short punt. On 3rd and 4 from the Kaiser 25, JT Harris takes a handoff 9 yards, and the Indians are in the red zone. Next play, Harris with it again. He reaches for the pylon, but he's rolled down at the 1, so give him 15 yards on the play. Next play, Swiger. He's going to keep it himself, and he goes in from the 1. Swiger would have 2 more rushing touchdowns as Bridgeport scores 21 unanswered points in the 4th quarter, and they go on to remain unbeaten at 9-0, winning this one 24-13. More action in Rachel. North Marion kicking off to RCB to open up this game, and Gage Jackson will field it from his own 11. He starts up the middle of the field, and he's going to cut it outside to the far sideline. And 89 yards later, he has a score, and a 2-point conversion would also be good. So just like that, RCB opens up with an 8-0 lead. RCB kicking off here to Javon Davidson. He boots it to the Huskies. Adam Gaines will pick it up. He starts up the field, but he loses the ball, and RCB will recover deep in Husky territory. The Eagles have it at the 3-yard line. Next play, Norman Junkins hands off to Malcolm Johnson. He goes off tackle and in for the touchdown. Another 2-point conversion doubles up the Huskies at 16-zip. Jump to 1:40 left in the first. North Marion driving 4th and 13. It's a halfback pass as Tanner King tosses one to the back of the end zone for Brett Mays at 16-6. 9.8 seconds left in the half. RCB trying to add to the lead. Junkins rolls out and fires to Davidson in the end zone. That's another touchdown, and it's 22-8 at the break. Third quarter, North Marion starting to score. Elliott from the 1 calls his own number, and it's 22-16. RCB next possession, Junkins rolls out, and he's at the goal line to Caden Wetzel for a touchdown. The extra point is no good, so it's 28-16 Eagles. North Marion driving again, 3rd and 8 from the 22. Elliott takes the handoff, drops back, fires over the middle to Caleb Kuhn, and the touchdown makes it 28-23 Bird. North Marion with the ball again, 1st and 10 from the 49. Elliott calling his own number once again. He gets through the line, goes all the way for the touchdown. It's 30-28. North Marion takes their first lead of the game. RCB next possession, they're driving. Junkins fakes the handoff, rolls out, gets to the far sideline, and he goes all the way. Another score as Bird upsets North Marion. The final of this one, 40-30. Bird improves to 4-5. North Marion falls to 5-3. When we come back, CJ Harvey has your boot of the week, plus another Class AA showdown between Lewis County and Elkins. Stick around.
For your boot of the week, we take you over to Elkins, where George Triplett lifts the ball over the bar for a 35-yard field goal, and that is your Benny's Boot Hill boot of the week. And we've got plenty of those highlights coming up right here on Fifth Quarter, presented by Trinity Homes. And after a 4-1 start, Lewis County has dropped 3 in a row. Wow. Damaging their one-strong playoff hopes. Meanwhile, the Elkins Tigers entered tonight's matchup with the Minutemen coming off back-to-back victories. And let's take you over to Weimer Field because the emotions were fiery tonight. Picking up in the Minutemen, moving the ball down the field, Thomas Hogan throws a strike over the middle for Nathan Frazier for a 36-yard touchdown. Minutemen go up 7-3 on the following drive. Tigers running back Thomas Takington take the handoff to the outside and enjoys a stroll into the end zone. Tigers retake the lead up 10-7. After a Minutemen punt, Triplett lines up for another 35-yard field goal and somehow gets that kick just over the bar. Tigers go up at halftime, but it would not even matter because at the end of the day, your Elkins Tigers go on to win 27-15 and sitting at right at 400, sitting at right at 500 at 4-4. Thank you for tuning in Fifth Quarter. Make sure to stick around on WVFX Fox 10 for a recap of the night and more. I'm CJ Harvey. Thanks for watching.